talk therapy.
You ever notice how silence feels louder when you're remembering someone? Like their absence echoes in the spaces they used to fill. I was sitting in my room earlier and suddenly I smelled her perfume. Just for a second. It faded so fast, it felt like she visited and left. Funny how people live in the walls long after they're gone. Or maybe we just carry them around too much. You ever feel like that? That someone's still here somehow? Not haunting, just lingering, like a memory too polite to leave.
Yeah, I walked past the coffee shop last week, the one where she laughed so hard that day, she spilled chai on her jeans. I stood there for a while. No reason. Just, hoping the wind would sound like her voice. I hate how much I still look for her in random places. And when I don't find her, it breaks me a little more. It's been years, but some people are time-proof, aren't they?
I still have her playlist saved. I never play it. Just can't delete it either. It's like a digital ghost. Each song is a timestamp of who we were, even the ones I used to skip. I miss those too. I don't know if I'm grieving her or grieving me when I was with her. Maybe both, because she didn't just leave. She took the version of me that existed around her. And I haven't been able to find that girl since.
I get that. I found an old hoodie she left behind. Still smells like her shampoo. I should have washed it years ago, but I never did. It sits at the back of my closet like some sacred relic. You know, it's crazy how objects become emotional landmines. One accidental find and boom. You're not in the present anymore. You're back in her arms under her laugh, and then suddenly you're alone, clutching fabric.
Last Tuesday, I made tea the exact way she used to like it. Not even intentionally. My hands just remembered. It hit me halfway through the first sip and I cried. Not because the tea was perfect, but because I'd forgotten how much of her lived in me. Sometimes you think you've moved on until your muscle memory betrays you, and suddenly you're right back in her kitchen, smiling without realizing it, and then remembering why you stopped.
I get that, deeply. I was humming while driving the other day. Didn't notice the tune until I did. It was her favorite lullaby, one I promised to learn on guitar but never did. I haven't heard it in years, but somehow my voice knew every note. Memory is weird like that. It hides what hurts until it doesn't, and then it shows up like a ghost in the rearview mirror.
Do you think she ever wonders about us? If she thinks about what we could have been if timing had been kinder? Sometimes I replay those arguments, wonder if I had said one less cruel thing, or held her a little longer that night. Would she still be here? But you know what's harder than the heartbreak? The what-ifs. They don't end. They multiply.
All the time. There are nights I wonder, what if I'd stayed quiet instead of speaking in anger? What if I'd apologized first? What if we both hadn't been so proud? The truth is, I think we both thought the other would come back. But time's cruel that way. It doesn't wait for reconciliations. It just moves, and we stay behind, frozen in regret.
She left without saying goodbye. No text, no call, no last hug, just gone. I kept checking my phone for weeks. Then I realized some people leave like storms. No warning, just damage, and we're left cleaning up alone. Do you think closure is even real? Or is it just a myth we create to comfort ourselves?
I think closure is a lie. We don't get closure, we get silence. And then, over time, we learn to live around the noise that silence makes. She didn't owe me closure, but I owed myself healing. That took longer, still takes effort. But I'm learning that letting go doesn't always come with answers. Sometimes it's just accepting the questions and walking forward anyway.
I thought I saw her last month. Same hairstyle, same walk. Even wore that mustard yellow jacket. My heart did this stupid thing. It hoped. But when she turned around, it wasn't her. Still, I smiled, like my soul had gotten something it needed. A glimpse. A maybe. That's what love does, doesn't it? It tricks you into seeing what's no longer there. Because even your mind misses being wrong.
That happened to me too. At the station, she had her posture, her voice. I even followed her for a moment, not in a creepy way, just drawn by memory. But she looked back, and it wasn't her, and my chest just dropped. I didn't realize how much I missed being near someone who used to feel like home. Even if home no longer exists, even if it never did outside my own mind. It's cruel, but it's real.
She's happy now. I saw pictures. Her smile hasn't changed, but the person beside her has. It hurt, but I was weirdly relieved. Like she didn't vanish. She just found her next chapter. Meanwhile, I'm still stuck rereading ours. Do you ever wonder how they moved on so fast? Like, did it ever mean as much to them? Or were we just a stopgap?
That question haunts me. She found someone too, and he gives her everything I struggled to. At first, I hated him. Then I envied him. Now I just hope he never makes her cry the way I did. Maybe moving on wasn't easy for them either. Maybe they just hid it better. We all grieve differently, Ava. Some of us build silence into strength.
You know, this is the first time I've spoken about her in months. Out loud, I mean. It almost feels like betrayal, like I'm reopening a box I buried. But it's also freeing, like naming the ache makes it less heavy. I think grief grows in silence, but when shared, it becomes bearable. I'm glad we're talking, not to solve anything, just to remember without hurting alone.
Same here. I never talk about her, not even to my closest friends. They moved on from the story before I did. But with you, it's different. You know the ache without needing an explanation. You feel it too. And somehow that makes the remembering less sharp, less like bleeding, more like tracing a scar. It still stings, but it's survivable.
If she called you tonight, said she missed you, said she wanted to try again, would you go back? Even after all the tears, the silence, the growing apart? Would you rewind time? Or would you say, we had our season? I ask myself that every night. And honestly, some nights I'd run to her. Others I wouldn't even pick up.
That's the question, isn't it? Love makes you forget the reasons you left, but healing reminds you why you stayed gone. I think about it too, and I'm scared of the version of me that still wants to say yes. But I've changed. She has too. And maybe our story's meant to end with a soft echo, not a second chance. Even if it hurts, not all broken things are meant to be fixed.
Maybe the point isn't to forget them. Maybe it's to carry them better, like a song that once made us cry, but now just makes us pause. They were chapters, not the whole book. And we're still writing, still learning how to be okay with unfinished sentences. Maybe some love stories don't end in reunion, but in understanding, and that's enough.
Yeah, I think about her less now. Not because she mattered less, but because I've made room for new moments. And slowly she's become part of my story. Not the whole plot. I'll always wish her well. I'll always smile when I hear that song, but I won't break anymore. And that's how I know I've healed.